Hi, welcome to Daily Dose of Anime Recaps. In this video, we'll be taking a look at episodes 5 through 9 of Swallowed Star. We're at the end of the century. A mysterious virus known as the RR virus appears in Earth's atmosphere, killing 2 billion people and mutating animals into monsters. In an attempt to destroy these monsters, the governments of the world used nuclear weapons. While the monsters survived, human civilization was all but wiped out. 5 nations survived and formed an alliance, providing shelter for humanity in large bases. Much like the animals of Earth, the humans have also gained powers, allowing some of them to become warriors, humanity's defenders against the monsters that plague the planet. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to be sure you don't miss the next episodes. Luo Feng senses the snake-like shadow, but when he opens his eyes, there's nothing out of the ordinary in his cell. He goes to the mess hall and spots Cobra, whose aura is manifesting above him in the form of a shadowy snake. A group of thugs begins to threaten Luo Feng, but he stands up and says he'll take them all at once, and then says that includes Cobra, who has not moved from where he was sitting. Cobra does not move, as Luo Feng effortlessly takes apart the thugs. Cobra shocks Luo Feng with his speed, and for the first time in the series, we see Luo Feng at a disadvantage in a fight. Cobra is clearly toying with him, as he launches what he thinks will be a finishing blow with 2 thrown blades. But Luo Feng activates his 5 acupoints skyward to move them around him. Luo Feng screams in pain as energy crackles through his cells, and the guards break up the fight, taking him to the infirmary. We then cut to the head of the prison reviewing Zhang Haobai's mansion's security footage, as he thanks Zhu Zhen for getting it to him before Zhang Haobai's head of security could delete it. Luo Feng wakes up in the infirmary with enhanced senses and telekinesis. He practices the genetic energy practices more and comes to the realization that his headaches and fainting have been from being unable to handle the amount of energy that he's been channeling. The head of the prison tells Luo Feng that he's free to go, and that the inmates who attacked him were hired by Zhou. We then cut to Zhang Haobai's berating Zhou for his failure, but Zhou informs him that if the Security Bureau investigates the incidents, they will learn that Zhang Haobai is to blame for it all, so he should speak to his uncle, the warrior. Zhang Haobai's uncle is furious and grounds him, saying he will deal with it, as Luo Feng is weak and just a warrior to be. Zhu Zhen meets up with Luo Feng, and he thanks her for testifying for him. She tells him that she's always believed in him. She tells him that she knows he's always wanted to help the world, and that she'll help him do that any way she can. We see video footage of Luo Feng training with instructor Zhang. He informs Luo Feng that he has greatly improved after a month of training, and is ready for the real test tomorrow. Luo Feng marvels at instructor Zhang's speed, but instructor Zhang informs him that it's not about speed, it's about micro-level body movement, using the small movements of an opponent to predict their moves and dodge with little effort of your own. He goes on to say that this is the 2nd level of movement, and most senior-level warriors have mastered this. He also goes on to explain that there is a hierarchy of warriors: soldiers, senior warriors, and the rare gods of war. These levels are all subdivided into 3 more levels: primary, intermediate, and advanced. Soldiers are generally able to be beaten by hot weapons, but senior level warriors are faster than any guns they have. Gods of war are faster than lightning and able to smash buildings. Luo Feng asks if there is a level beyond that, and instructor Zhang looks pleased with the question. He says warriors like that can destroy the universe, and that there are only 2 or 3 in the country. Instructor Zhang is then called to bring Luo Feng to meet with director Zhuge. And as they exit the room, we see the shield instructor Zhang had been using to block Luo Feng's attacks begin to crack. Director Zhuge, the head of the Advanced Martial Club, offers a position on the Advanced Martial Club before he even takes the test. He is offered the largest offer ever given by the Martial Club. Luo Feng asks about Director Zhuge, and instructor Zhang says that he is an advanced senior warrior. Luo Feng picks up his family and brings them to the villa. They are overjoyed that they finally have the life they deserve. Zhu shows up at the villa to talk to Luo Feng and apologizes for everything, explaining the situation with Zhang Haobai and his warrior uncle. Luo Feng says he will deal with Zhang Haobai later, but first he has to pass the warrior field test so that he can keep the account he signed on to with the Advanced Martial Club. As the warriors-to-be prepare to begin the test, a warrior-to-be named Wan Dong says he also received an advanced contract for Thunder and Lightning Martial Club. He challenges Luo Feng to see who can do better in the field test, but Luo Feng refuses. Zhang Haobai's uncle uses his credentials to get access to the restricted area where the test is being held. The warriors-to-be are informed that, for this test, they'll be cutting off the ears of monsters for research on a vaccine for them, and that they'll be graded on the number of ears they bring in from different monsters. As the warriors-to-be begin their test, Zhang Haobai's uncle puts an egg in the testing area, which begins to hatch. Luo Feng squares off against a monster, using what he learned about micro-body movements to defeat it. He sees a monster get pulled over the edge of a building, and when he goes back to investigate, sees a golden eagle. Back at the facility monitoring the test, they say that the monster is not supposed to be there and is too high a level. But before they can terminate the test, Director Zhuge stops them. Director Zhuge notes that the golden eagle is a newborn, so not truly as high level a monster as it would be full grown. Luo Feng engages the golden eagle in battle. At first, he wonders if it's invincible, but then he remembers the grown one that had been defeated by the warrior in the first episode. He throws his sword at it for what would have been a devastating attack, but misses. He does not give up and traps it under some rubble before decapitating it. Back at the observation facility, one of the warriors remarks that he was lucky to have avoided the golden eagle's attacks, but Director Zhuge informs them that he didn't truly miss with his first attack. He used it to change the golden eagle's flight direction, and that he had planned out each move that led to the golden eagle being killed. The test results are in, and while Luo Feng came in second, behind Wan Dong, he doesn't care though, because it was still enough to pass. We then see Luo Feng in a place called the House of the Extreme, a place where he can find information on warriors. An attractive robot woman explains that she's his personal guide, and that here he can get information on warriors, buy weapons, guidance, special books, outfits, medications, vehicles, and so on. He asks her for information on Spirit Master. She says that there are two types of Spirit Masters: those who can use telekinesis, and those who can attack the spirit of an opponent. She also explains that Spirit Masters learn faster than the average warrior, putting them about 2 grades above the average warrior of their rank. Luo Feng remarks that this makes him the equivalent to an advanced senior warrior. He asks to be shown special books on advanced attacks, and is floored by how expensive they are. She tells him not to worry and that he can buy the books in stages as opposed to the whole thing at once. She shows him one that was made by Hong, the most powerful warrior in the world, capable of single-handedly destroying a large nation, if he wished. He then asks to see a book on the Thunder Saber, written by the second most powerful man in the world, and buys the first 3 stages of it. After the purchase, he realizes that he forgot he had to buy weapons, and now he can't afford them. A senior advanced warrior from the club shows up at his door and tells him that he was instructed to bring him the books he ordered, and explains that they must be delivered by a warrior as it is valuable information. He also warns Luo Feng that they are for him to study, and that if he shares the information in them, he will be hunted down by all warriors and all nations. He goes on to tell him that the investigation into the incident in prison was investigated, and that Zhang Haobai was indeed the culprit. Zhang Haobai, in trying to assassinate a warrior-to-be, could be sentenced to 20 to 30 years in prison or executed, and that his uncle, the warrior, is the head of the Thunder and Lightning Martial Club and wants to settle out of court. Zhang Haobai's uncle shows up with 2 members of his martial club in an attempt to intimidate Luo Feng, but the senior members of Luo Feng's martial club, including instructor Zhang, go with him. They tell Zhang Haobai's uncle that he will not be intimidating a member of their team, because their team is a family, and that they won't let him lowball or harm him in the negotiations. In the end, Luo Feng refuses to settle, saying he could forgive something done to him, but by involving his innocent and hardworking family members, Zhang Haobai has done something unforgivable, and he will make sure justice is brought down. He thanks the senior warriors for their help, and they inform him that Director Zhuge wanted him put on an advanced team. So they are not only in his club, but on his team as well. The man who delivered his books, a man named Shen Gu, is the leader of his team, the Firehammer team, and buys him the weapons and outfit he needs, saying he can pay him back later. He is warned that if he does a bad job and slows down the team on their dangerous missions, he'll be kicked off. Luo Feng is informed he'll be going on his first mission with Firehammer team. He's introduced to Captain Gao Feng, as he shakes Gao Feng's hand and marvels at the man's incredible strength and control. He is then introduced to his teammates, Wei Tai, Xiang Ke, and Wei Qing. They are briefed in their mission, which is to rescue volunteers from a company that had been collecting DNA samples from monsters, which went missing. They only have 1 hour to find the team before their last watch's battery goes dead, rendering their signal untrackable. We then cut to the team of volunteers and see monsters closing in on one of them before the beeping of the tracking watch draws them to its wearer, Xu Xin. She abandons the watch so her team can get away. Firehammer team is attacked by monsters, and a one-horned boar separates Luo Feng from the group. As the group watches him fight it, Captain Gao Feng notes that he's using the Thunder Saber first technique, although he's not very skilled with it yet. He still defeats it, and the captain congratulates him on his first real victory against a level F monster. They find an ultrasonic device that humans cannot hear, meant to attract monsters to the area. 2 men, the ones who planted the device, are seen crushing the communication watch, as we cut back to a shot of Firehammer team going out on their mission and passing Zhang Haobai's uncle. His team is the one who planted the sonic device and crushed the communication watch. As they walk, one of the Huya squad members activates the sonic devices, drawing every monster in the area to attack the Firehammer team. As they run, we see Xu Xin hide inside an abandoned building as monsters try to get in. One of the Huya squad shoots out the lock on the door to the building so the monsters can finish Xu Xin, leaving no witnesses to their crimes. Xu Xin uses fire to escape the monsters, only to run into an even larger monster. Luo Feng saves her. As she and Firehammer team are pursued by a pack of monsters, they find another building to take refuge in.